to Bangkok as well. Now it feels like these last few matches you've seen of G2 down in the lower bracket, they've been in survival mode rather than domination mode.
Battered and bruised, but it is time for that Samson match style. Load up fast with Samson SSDs as we get into our opening pistol round. G2 with a lot to prove here.
Really common pistol for the defenders is to triple walk down mid at the start of these rounds, hoping that you can get a flank retake on A. G2 not going for it. SEN ready, wary, using the drone, but not... Oh, did they catch Jorg? I think they must have.
He's going to reveal himself anyway as well. A couple of stray shots, posturing back and forth.
And in the meantime, Sentinels taking some short control, slowly contacting and faking B. This is designed to draw people away from that A connector, over towards B and weaken the A site.
Leaf not to be moved though, and there's the slightest gap in a corner to play and not stuns up. He's getting two! Just for the troubles, Jonah P instantly there with a response. He fills in the gap.
And immediately the pings are coming out in that corner. A flash, a clear, and Leaf picks up 3.
Swinging all the way through here, it's all onto the shoulders of Narrate. Explosive is the opening, but already the net closing, and that's G2 taking our first round here in our grand finals.
You cannot make mistakes like that if you want a chance at beating G2. That corner, utterly uncleared. I mean, that's one of the major reasons why you're even using the fault line in that position. A couple of steps further back for John Cutie, and Leaf is caught dead to rights in that situation. And yet he escapes with 3 kills. G2 given a pistol. But they had many pistols, many force buy wins the last time they played against Sentinels in that upper bracket semi-final. Didn't help them.
Now Sentinels came ready to play that evolution that they've been having over the course of 2025. Looking like they're in top form. And they want to take a trophy. They want to deny G2 the chance to be one of the first teams to win a back-to-back domestic trophy here in Americas. This is an overload as well. Body's going to be colliding, clashing here into the front section of B. It's going to be met with an appropriate response. So G2 happy to slap it back down. Spikes in their laps.
Last player standing.
The spike is just completely safe here on the site. John left to do it all. He found a weird timing, but he's going to have to get through 3 players with much better weaponry. And at this point, he's going for the slow, long wrap around. At this juncture, just trying to deny some weapons would be good out of the hands of G2.
Yeah.
And you saw there that they moved the setup pretty considerably. That Vice Wall went over towards B, anticipating some kind of B pop on an eco, and completely catching the double dive. Did it get scrappy? Yeah, a little bit. I was confused why Jonah P had utility in his hands when he knew that Bang had gone into the site. And watch out for this in future rifle rounds, because the Neon plus Omen combo, it can get past the Vice Wall. Normally we think about Neon being pretty hard countered by Vice, but if Bang is willing to get in there and get aggressive and play as well as he was last time they played against G2, there could be some chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. It turns into an isolated player, just into that 1-2 punch, I think.
And Bang looking to fill the gap left by TenZ on those aggressive Omen teleports.
Absolutely.
See if he pulls out more of them.
Well, here it is. We'll see if there's a conversion inside here for G2. They'd love to get strong start, good beginning. Sentinels finally with some weapons in their hands. Slow going.
They've mixed up the defensive setup again. So pistol round, they had a 1-2 trap play, kind of set up in garage G2. Now they've moved that Vice Wall over to C. And Leaf just has to control the whole of this part of the map.
There's no one going to be waiting to absorb perceived aggression at least. Zekken is going to make it feel like this could be just an all-in. Of course, this is again a feign. Fakes on fakes, and Leafy's going to be squaring up to him, but dropped at a moment's notice again. So Zekken has already wrapped his way around. That was a pincer maneuver if Leaf didn't go down in that spot.
Yeah, this is a beautiful round for Sentinels to pull out. Off the barrier drop, that pathing, seen a lot of the Pacific teams actually running that, where you send your duelist in through B, and they've left an insert of Zelsis. So Zelsis is going to hear a lot of this, can play as the backstab. G2 would have to hit some outrageous shots to win this round.
Yeah. Zekken's already going to be drawing blood there towards CT. Zelsis, that backup policy, striking from behind. And that's a flawless round 3 here for Sentinels, denying G2 any chances of that strong beginning.
It's a great strategy. My only qualm would be, Could they use it on a round where it would break the economy of G2? Because that was just a bonus, but it allowed them to be extremely clean, get up good economy heading into the next. And I've got to imagine that Sentinels have got more in the bag than just that. Their Haven has looked remarkably good. Remember that this used to be a permaban map for Sentinels at the start of the year. If any map has showcased their growth, it's this one.
Again, that same emphasis being placed in through Garage. Bullets raining down. Leaf has got to dodge and weave. He's alive for now.
And Leaf is just kind of guessing where he should be putting the wall. You know, should it go over towards C? Should it go over towards B? Maybe even to supplement things in Garage for information. I do like that he's crossed back over onto the other side. Got flushed out of that position by the recon, and now they're trying to clear Jorg, but he's not been caught by the drone.
It's an off-angle. Look up through A long. That drone is going to be putting a bit of pressure now applied over towards Zelsis. You might see that strike from behind once more, but Leaf, very forward angle. Yuto's going to be skipping right past him along with the players and the bodies. Might just be dropping and toppling. Valin is caught in a corner, stunned up. And my God, Aftershock is just going to be rinsing him. Jonah P sidestep and good with the crosshair placement. Able to return with that fire once more, straight down the gut. Jonah P offloading all sorts of bullets and just dropping the round in the lap of G2.
And Valin will be very happy that the rest of his team bailed him out of that situation. Bit of an embarrassing
Did he
spot
stun
for him to be in.
himself?
He did. He Astra stunned himself. He thought that the rest of the team was starting to get in for Sentinels. Chose to try to make sure everybody was stunned there rather than let them through the choke point, but got caught by an Aftershock. Nonetheless, incredible awareness from Jonah P. And actually, Valin's done his job in that round by calling to have a triple stack in Garage because he got the read. And again, that round just kind of typifies everything Valin's been talking about recently, focusing on himself as a leader rather than a player. What matters it if he's stunned, if he makes the right call?
The round goes the way of G2 here. Again, a bit of an exchange of the fire. Just trying to earn up the orbs here. Zelsis' job is to try and contain a bit of presence over towards A long. That re-clear attempt by G2 went a bit missing.
And recall that Jorgamo got the push out through A lobby last time, so Zelsis might be feeling a bit more pressure than usual to make sure that he stays boxed inside.
A flash play here, Zekken going to be inserted.
But all of this a feint, but a feint with two important players for SEN.
Davos and the stun as well. Great crosshair placement though. Zekken, Jorgamo getting one as well for his troubles, and he backs himself out of there on top of it. And it has pulled a bit of the attention away here. G2 are quite scattered in terms of the defensive setup. And Valin, luckily with the Thorns by his side as well. Those are going to be detonated by Leaf, so it has slowed down the approach by Sentinels, but they do have 40 seconds left to play with. And this game of cat and mouse has just gone the wrong way, but Leaf is absolutely going to be reciprocating. That's a Steel Garden expecting an instant response, but Sen has slowed themselves.
And here's Jorgamo with this late round repush. They're so confident right now, G2. Clearing out. Valin walking down mid. They've got great information that this is going to be ending C, but Leaf cannot die. Sen need to root him out.
It's a flurry of bullets. Leaf is barely alive. He's going to be limping towards the back of the side if he wants to try and make a play to push this one back here, but seconds to spare. Sen get themselves into the post plan at least, and G2 have that discipline, waiting for the smokes to dissipate. Valin earns himself two, still Leaf back against the wall. He's got to know roughly the position of Zekken. Isolated into the 1v1, all for the A's. Dodging, sliding off to the side. Ult expended! And an ace is his!
Zekken has been a force of nature sweeping through this bracket recently. And they needed that. 5 kills. The fake over towards A long where he collects the first. Coming back in to make sure that his team is bailed out of a tricky situation. A clutch, an ace. Spectacular individual performance.
Come on, baby, come on, come on, come on.
That individual decision making. Just excellency on display there for the iBuyPower ace. I'm seeing it slow down here for the opening. G2, no weapons to work with. Zekken just posted up, Outlaw in hand.
Keeps all of that momentum going with an early pick.
Go, go, go.
A stun to try to re-clear from G2, but they don't have the weaponry really to fight this. They don't have the armor to fight this either. Everyone on G2 has been extremely confident in re-pushing out on defense, and SEN feel like they've got the read now. They're holding holding, waiting for the play.
Taking point is Jonah P, but, well, Trent was supposed to be the backup. He was the first to fall in that spot. Zelsis, quick dismissal down towards short here. A lot of the danger around is going to be gone here for G2, so desperation is what's called for. But it should be locked up here for Sentinels, nice and pretty now, 3-3.
And the more this goes on, maybe the more that John will start to get a read on what G2 have been doing on this defense. I think the macro overall has still been going the way of G2. They've been mixing things up really nicely, but Zeken's ace has turned the tide of this map, brought Sentinels level at 3-3, and given John more time to be able to figure out what's going on. You see on this eco how patient they were. If they can bring that into rifle rounds as well, I think they'll have a lot of success. It's hard for them to necessarily figure it out, but from our point of view, we can see there's constant pushing from the defenders. And G2 themselves are going to be taking a tactical timeout here. Josh RT wanting to make an adjustment.
You can call for the adjustments themselves as well, but sitting at the top of the scoreboard is Zeken. He's 8-3. You called it, Josh. You know, the difference maker being that ace that he managed to earn, the momentum on the side of Sentinels here. And Zeken has been dominating. His last game versus MIBR, he's putting up unbelievable performances to turn rounds, almost single-handedly.
He's been spectacular. I think the bigger the games have gotten at the end of this playoffs, the more Zeken seems to want it, the more Zeken seems to be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat at any moment when SEN require magic to be made. He's phenomenal. And I think for Sentinels, it's never been about really talent. We looked at this roster as arguably even an upgrade on last year's roster, pound for pound.
Which is crazy.
That is a mad take, and you know, maybe there's a lot of people out there that might disagree with it, but it was possible. But what was the actual difference? It was getting everyone on the same page. It was making sure that you integrated those new players of Bang and Array and got everybody aligned with a vision. And I think now that you see Sentinels in that kind of form, well, now you just see the best out of the individuals too.
Cutting through.
Yeah, Sentinels that's potentially more than the sum of their parts.
Now, what is the adjustment that Josh RT has called coming out of this? I'm looking at Valen deep in spawn. He's maybe anticipating Bang to go for an Omen ult play and getting ready to break it. But it doesn't look like Sentinels are going to be running one of their set tactics off the rip. And at some point, Valen's got to try to actually pick up an area of the map to hold instead of just waiting in spawn for the Omen ult.
Just a bit of poking and prodding there from Sentinels, making sure they can clear up the util. The war going down is a bit dire for G2. They're missing some of that information across the map.
But they've got incredible retake ultimates, and they're going for the push down mid.
Yeah, this is reactionary. They need to know where Sentinels are lying in wait.
And good patience from SEN, bringing all of that patience from the anti-eco into the rifle round. They've now denied that little info play that G2 were going for, and they can now start to go into their own execute. The idea here for John is to try to use as little utility and ultimates as possible. If they can get C for free, they would love that, because that allows them to save Sova ult breach ult for post plan. G2 again going for the mid push. They will not be denied.
They're pushing up right behind them here. Potential to catch a timing against them, but it's an open site. An access here for Sentinels. And we're seeing it. An attempt to flood back in, but the players aren't really in position to try and do so. Rolling Thunder expended on either side here. Does push back CT. G2 can't really make a go of things here with a Hunter's Fury on top of it. Might be the cherry on top here, but still G2 are going to be drawing that blood. Lee finds that opening. Looking for a little bit more here. Armageddon is all being laid down on top. Sen posturing, trying to offer themselves up here in the raid. Has got so much to do! Absolutely absurd!
It doesn't matter how well G2 play right now. The SEN players are pulling out ridiculous rounds. Round 5 and round 7. I think G2 played the better game. What does it matter if Zeken and Narrate are on fire like this? Oh my god, that was bonkers. The quick aim reset is superb. That's why they added this guy in the off-season. Oh, if this is how this match is beginning, we're in for a treat.
Absolutely.
Because G2 have had the read. They know what's going on. They set up for the retake.
In terms of macro, they've had a better idea of what's going on here.
But it doesn't matter. Famously, you get shot, you die.
Exactly. The hero plays from Sentinels, that extra element.
Take flight.
And they do hit hard, these players, when they come online. Drifting towards the seaside, though, that's where Sentinels set their sights. And again, the weakened weapon, your G2, going to be a bit of a problem for them. They are trying to pile in with a couple of the bodies out towards the back, though. Zekken not to be denied, and a quick flick of the wrist, dodging all sorts of util coming his way. He's looking for more. Jorgamo earns himself that one, but Bang is so fast to respond.
He's so tight with Zekken, isn't he? Trying to develop that 1-2 synergy that you need, and he's inside the smoke, locking it down. Sentinels have been clean on the anti-ecos. They've forced out 2 of them with absurd rifle wins in aces and clutches. And now Trent, the last player alive, caught Bang to rights.
And even the little things there, I think, Josh, as well. Bang not overheating. Even though it's a 1v4 in ad spot, Trent still respecting their opponents. He's waiting for the garage control. Instilling that discipline at the right times and not getting carried away. This is a Sentinels team that they don't want to be denied that trophy a second time this year.
Nice, boys.
And when you're winning rounds like this, it sounds calm from Zelsis, doesn't it? I'm sure the adrenaline's flooding through them when they watch what Zekken and Narrate have been able to do, but here's another rifle round. Another opportunity, though, for G2's economy to be broken. That's how SEN are going to be looking at things. A feign at a quick garage take. The recon dart, I think, might have missed there. Could be wrong. But Zekken doesn't seem confident in terms of stepping in and triggering the Vice Wall, which Leaf has now rotated. Hasn't usually been in garage, so that staying up is going to give them quite a bit of peace of mind. And all the time, G2 are rotating the defensive setup. They haven't been running this before with Jorgamo holding C. It's allowed both initiators to be on A.
Oh, jiggle for the info. Valen and Trent potentially could have been really tested into that spot, but Sentinels are moving into a different spot and direction here, and it's a reclear call with a stun in sight. There it is.
The reclears are really good from G2. They're constantly getting information. Again, though, I come back to the same thing. It hasn't mattered in the late round because someone on SEN turns up.
Zekken causing all sorts of pressure. Jorgamo taking a cheeky peek out through the double doors, and the rate has fallen. 3v5 situation now for them, and Lurk plays called for. Bang, cleaned up. It's all watched for.
And if there was going to be somebody who could step up again for SEN, I think it would have been Bang in this round. He got an opportunity in on A. If he'd won that duel against Valen, they would have been able to get a free plant and a 3v4 post plant. Now, things are looking almost impossible for Sentinels. The clock's against them. The numbers are against them.
10 seconds left.
Surely it's a round where G2 can stabilize.
Low to a crawl here, and it's just Zekken left to stand against it. Being offered a shoulder or two, but the round's already going to be lost, and G2 know it.
I got spike.
Playing this one back. Waiting the timeout here. Slow burn of a round, but G2 really were just picking apart SEN. Zekken staying alive, not going to matter too much. The money is still honestly golden for SEN.
Round 10, and I think Chunk Duty at this point has enough data, enough evidence to realize how much G2 are re-clearing. The fact that you're constantly in retake, seeing people behind you, or you're in the post plant, but you're seeing people retake on the flank. The fact that Zelsis got stun re-cleared in A short there, and you've caught them going for mid pushes in multiple rounds. I think you've got to get a read at this point, even with the limited information that the players have on stage, that G2 are getting really, really active on defense side. So you've got a couple of options. Do you try to slam some fast executes? That's really tough into the Vice. So I think Kaplan should be calling here for John to slow things down and try to catch G2 as they're going for these pushes.
You've seen it consistently, as you've already pointed out. I mean, G2 re-clearing, I should say. A short, sewers. It's one of the spots, the little peaks through mid. Slower game plan. Would work wonders, but the question is, are G2 going to anticipate that level of it as well? They're quite good at adapting to their opponents over the course of a map.
And if you're thinking about the ways that Sentinels might want to approach this next round, they could be going for some kind of C-pop, but the problem is you don't know if there's going to be both Thorns and the Wall there. Leaf has been rotating stuff so heavily. All right, well, do you want to maybe C-split then? Because that makes it much tougher for the Vice. Well, G2 have been putting 2, sometimes 3 players in garage.
Yeah.
So the rotating door of defensive strategies actually makes it quite tough to come up with a game plan here for SEN if you wanted to go fast. That's why I'm suggesting a slower approach. Valen again is in spawn, waiting for Bang to teleport. He's convinced that at some point Bang is going to go for this round.
We're seeing it stun conditioning, at least to try and break some of this util out towards garage. The Thorns detted early here alongside the Flash and Zekken. Senses danger lurking around the corner.
No Omen ultimate, so Bang goes and reinforces Jorgamo's position on C. And SEN are playing a pretty slow, default-heavy round, trying to bait these pushes out. But they're not actually leaving somebody to see if there's a walk down mid or a walk out garage. They're instead 5-person grouping up to try to hit A.
Trying to re-clear here. It's good that that one was broken as well. Has pulled presence though. Bodies starting to form up onto the site here for G2, and that information is there for Trent. Spots it. Waiting for it, and this is a re-clear call for, but will the timing be missed entirely? Zelz is the first one to catch that contact. There's stuns on stuns, and Util in their faces! It's second. Grabs himself two. Flash. Not quite avoided, but the gate crash, okay, will lend you to safety. But Sentinels have access to the site now.
Are they aware of this flank coming around from the flank, from behind? They should know that Leaf's been going for this regularly.
It's already rapid up towards A long here. Just a bit of distraction plays being called for these G2 players, though. Stopped in their tracks, and it's up to Leaf here from the side, finally. Takes that time into strike here, but a lot to deal with now if you are Leaf. There's that 3-2-1 swing from Sentinels. Guides them to safety.
A scrappy affair, but SEN get it across the line. This time, not by any individual hero, though you could give credit for Zekken for pulling off 2 in this spot. But it's more to do with how they skirmished, caught those players on long, and then held good post-plant positions. Great synergy towards the end from John and Bang.
Tell me.
2 more rounds to be played on this half of Haven.
Gotta go.
And Sentinels all grouped up for a fast pop A.
There's 5 of them. Feigning like it could be that slow take that they've been doing, at least with Zelz's cage. Walking up alongside them here.
Trent's trying to get a jump spot, just saw John QT. Might realize this time that it's serious pressure coming in his direction. 3 players stacking, Jorg with a teleport. He could be here in no time at all.
Just drawing for that information. It's going to be broken though, and along with that fault line, it's going to be a wall up. It's used in response. Armageddon off to the side, and it just cleans up second. So road is paved up there, and still TP quick into the back, and bang! Strikes back! Doubled up with the paranoia. Leaf has to be there. Instantaneous. Finally cleans this one up, and it has called for a pause. Salvos forwards, the rate. But the guns were finally back in action. Rifles in their hands. Sentinels not to be outdone.
That play from Bang was absolutely sick, under so much pressure.
Spike planted.
Never not
Last
smoked
player
though.
standing.
Still, bodies are going to be toppling regardless of that one, and it's all left towards Trent. Will he be given that opening? He's found the first. Stuns avoided. Shots rattled. He's got another rough position, but a timing taken there by John. 3-round lead for SEN.
And the play from Bang, it was superb. But even before that, Zekken goes in and gets caught by this ultimate, the Teo ult. And the rest of the team take the space, actually, really nicely behind at first opportunity. They don't get shaken. They play well within the chaos. What was
Nice, boys? Sean, what a play. Sean, what a play. You're so good.
It was an excellent play. Bang has added so much needed aggression alongside Zekken into this team. And now
A follow-up.
it's a bad buy for G2. They're trying to apply the pressure onto Zelsis here on his A default.
It's the final round of this first half. Difference between 5-7 and 8-4 is quite a lot in the grand scheme of things. G2 all grouped up. A lobby is theirs. SEN might be caught just unaware here.
The cam, though, could give extremely good information. If he taps it around now and sees 3 players, they can just react.
Backs though, not really watching, not really anticipating. Flash forwards. Everyone walking up onto these angles, and right from behind, this is it. Jorgamo's
no
time
trip at
to
all.
strike. Brings it true there, at least with a stinger in his hands. Bang, wrapping around now. He's got to try and at least stop this one in their tracks. What the hell happened there? Jorgamo, someone taking a bullet to the brain, but Trent is there. At least with the trade, and this entire time, Sen have been creeping forwards, crawling. And open access to the A side is what they've earned.
Zelsis throws down that trip that I think he might have been wishing was on the flank, and they've inserted Zekken deep into B. He's going to get good information. They might suspect that somebody's been left in this spot. But do they think it's going to be the Neon?
Already coming to fruition here. Still plays off into the flank, but G2 don't really have much more control outside of that one. Sight's been flipped entirely here. Sentinel's still in a good spot, and that's a stun for a stun and an ult expended. Rolling Thunder! into your face. Oh yeah, that's a bit of miscoordination, but the aftershock pushed forwards, a bit of spam might earn himself another one. Jonah P still alive for now, but not for much longer. Zelsis and John have to join and combine their might to try and stand against this one. Salvos, it's not pretty. The heat's been turned up entirely. John can't deny it into the 1v1. And time barely there for Trent, I think.
That is so close.
It's going to be on the wire there. 0.06.
And how much did that breach ultimate end up meaning? Zekken getting breach ulted by his own team, wasn't able to fight them properly over towards short. Madness in the final round as G2 get up to 5. So many crazy things happening there. The flank all the way through A lobby, undefended by the Cypher. The push is working again for G2, and the defuse with 60 milliseconds on the clock.
And it's just been non-stop the entirety of this first half here in our grand finals. Electric gameplay on both sides. Two teams just taking chunks out of each other. There's plenty more left to be said as well on the other side of this.
You might have heard I'm going through a little upgrade with my tats. So when Verizon announced that everyone gets a free phone on any plan, pain-free, count me in. Try and beat it. I'll give you a sec.
Well, a 2-round lead for now for Sentinels here in our opening map of the Grand Finals. But best of 5s can be grueling. They're marathons. And you've got to maintain that energy all the way throughout. For Sentinels themselves as well, there's a lot on the line between these two teams. It's not just that first seed spot, a couple of champ points as well that might be playing an effect in the long term. There is a lot on the line in terms of lifting this domestic trophy. These teams don't want to be denied it. For G2, the chance of a back-to-back. And for Sentinels, they were denied it earlier on in the year. They don't want that to happen again.
I was just thinking through, and I hadn't realized that Americas has never had a repeat winner of a domestic trophy. It feels like we have had huge Titan teams, and yet this would be history in either direction. G2 on the pistol, playing things slowly, expecting some kind of aggression from the defenders. Really common to do some kind of push off the barrier drop on Haven pistol defense. But nobody from Sentinels overstepping themselves. This position from Zekken is really good, but you'd imagine it'll get cleared by the drone.
I don't think it did. He missed it.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that.
No, it didn't look like it. Broken in time.
Oh, no, he has. Look at the ping there.
Okay.
So ping in the corner. They did spot just for a moment Zekken's position.
G2 going to be swarming, though. This is a quick reaction out over towards C. SEN is still going to be reinforcing this one here. Plenty of bodies. Time to stand up to the test. It's going to be sent your way. Salva's in for the back. There's not really much safety. TP into the back. That is risky. But
Zekken
G2 looking to fill this one up again. And Zekken is there. It's rapid, isn't it? Wrapping around and trying to put that pincer into motion. Still, he's fired off a couple of shots and revealed the hand entirely. And G2 are calling for reactions of their own. They're taking space. They're taking names. It's a feed that's filled up entirely with red. But Zekken's still alive. And with that, a chance. The pistol round win. He's already caught that timing here, but double down found the one. Not quite the second. Trent shuts him down, and for G2 it means all and everything in the world.
Huge for G2 to get both pistol rounds here on Sentinel's map pick. I'm wondering whether Zekken gave away his position slightly with the stun that he threw rather than trying to get a pick with the pistol, but I can't really doubt what a beast he's been. 16-9, top of the scoreboard, and Trent had to put the beast down. Both of these players have been phenomenal this year, and it's G2 who are looking like they're going to tie things up. SEN are not the kind of team to force after losing pistol, and we haven't even seen that from G2 on the defense, really.
Yeah.
Teams only liking to do it when they are on attack, they get the plant money, get the spike down.
Right there. A little bit less damaging if it does go wrong here.
And one of the benefits of that, of knowing that your opponents are not going to force, is that Leaf can do this kind of buy where he only comes in with a pistol. And so the rest of G2 are going to try to be super cautious not to run into the stack, and Leaf can play with a little bit of freedom, looking to see where the danger might be. So you might see Leaf solo kind of work through Garage, especially after Vice flashing it there and realizing that nobody's home.
Two prodding. They were hoping that Sentinels would go for a bit more of a risky, proactive play on their defense when they're on the eco themselves, and you're finally seeing it, signs of life. That's what G2 were hoping for, and, well, quick wraparound. I think the rumble of the footsteps might have given it away.
Yeah, Leaf possibly heard something. John has the wrong read on where G2 are going to be ending here. So looks like one of those rounds where SEN will end up just having to die to the spike, although they're making a mass migration pretty early on, actually, way before the spike has been committed, so they'll have time to fight over this.
Leaf hearing a lot of it, just backs himself out of there, doesn't want to give away his life for no particular reason, but straight into the smoke, wrapping around to the side, Valin, stinger into the sidearm, deadly combination, bang. Gonna try and do a lot from this spot, but again, the weaponry wasn't really handed off over towards him. Still, that smoke is dissipating, and no one was really ready for the swing. Still the reload, punished by it. G2 survive, at least with just two of the players still.
Now we get to see a bonus. We get to see Sentinels playing defense. A little bit of pressure on. After how well they played in the first half, scores dead even. Valen's the closest to ult. He's one away, actually, from being able to get a Cosmic Divide up.
Nice.
That's a pretty big ultimate to play around on Haven. You could definitely craft ideas and set ult rounds based off that Astra. It's pretty uncommon to be running it on this map. Almost everybody favoring the Omen.
Early beginning here. Oh my, just spotting it. Nothing to really obfuscate the cross there. Does Valen even know the second is pushed all the way up here? Surely with the Thorns deaded. Support arriving. Valen is so fast up onto this line. And he's just going to be meeting a fight straight up with John. Nothing to really support that peak. And the refight is called for by Sentinels again. They are not willing to let that go unchecked. Zekken just unleashes. Well aware now that Valen could have taken that time in once more, but he's trying to regroup once up onto that. Narray watching it. Closing in now on all the possible angles that these G2 players could have crept into. And it was looking a bit disastrous to begin, but overall, Sentinels do manage.
Zekken and Narray hitting great shots. 20 kills for Zekken here across 15 rounds. His form's looking remarkable, unbelievable. Dominates Trent and Leaf there.
One enemy remaining.
And Narray does a good job of covering his back and shuts down Valen.
I'm balling, boys, I'm balling.
Tough to lose when you have a player in this kind of form, and yet the lead only one.
Gotta go.
It's an expenditure to util here. Sentinels winning out. Battle line's going to be redrawn, so they have a lobby control. No re-clear by G2. They're setting their sights all the way over towards C. Might be bogged down a little bit, though. There's a lot of Cypher util to contest with.
The trips don't even matter at this point.
Yeah.
There's no spam that Zelsis is going to be able to provide.
That's that Cosmic Divide. Denying a chance for Zelsis to potentially...
And this post plant is going to be so difficult to crack. Zekken is going to have to do magic on the flank.
That's re-clear. They heard it. Presence in towards Garage. Tsunami getting to try to push them forwards. Bang! Barely getting the hell out of there still. As the curtain drops, so does Jorgamo with his head just clean off. Valen again wrapping rounds and away here. Watch for, not quite John. Just slacking in terms of that crosshair placement, and now it's a game of his timing once more. That's going to be a pull. Forced out of them just from the tap there, bang. We'll be able to get second and not to the half. Not quite, but the salvo is pushing them back in their way. Great util from T2. Discipline. on show. Top form on top of it. Now Bang's getting kills, but honestly the time has already ran out.
And G2, they play another perfect post plant to be able to put themselves level again, 8-8. Sentinels had the right idea there, I think. They didn't allow for any safe location for Tejo, for Astra to play inside of. Look at second on the flank here, but Trent controls it. And so they have a Vice wall set up, and then Trent swings off it. That gives him a safe spot to be able to use salvos. Valin has to fight Garage, but once he gets the kill on John Cutie, then he has a safe location to be able to use his pull. And Trent, in the end, gets the credit for the Red Bull clutch, but I don't think that was very likely to go the way of Sen after those two kills happened.
Too much stall here. Fast timing taken by Zekken, though. Benefited the Neon.
And this is a great way of being able to get past the Tejo. The Tejo is going to be doing that kind of short salvo for control. And if you disrespect it with the Omen teleport or with the Neon, it does become a lot more difficult for G2 to know which areas of the map are safe.
Zekken smoked off. There's a timing that could be taken as well if they wrap themselves around G2 through a long, but not too worried about it. It's been filled up by Narrate.
This time, Leaf putting the wall for A, indicating maybe that they're going to be trying to end on the A side of the map. That's where they've inserted Jorgamo early on. A little bit of garage pressure, see if you can break things. But Jorg goes and reconnects with the rest of the team.
Grenade is live.
Camera going to be broken. Stun maybe not intended for that one, but still they clear out Garage, nevertheless. And now with the stars down and starting to spell it out. Nice and pretty here towards Elsis. Playing around, weaving in and out of the cages, and he's caught that timing. Bullet to the side of the head. Thing could be said of Valen.
30 seconds left.
Bang all the way up through, into the back now. There could be a timing to be taken. Zelsis still hanging on to a bit of that backside control, calling for the flood attempt, and here it is with a bit of the util. G2 though, they were lying in wait, and they pounce on the timing. That chance to strike. It's a sight that's going to be theirs now. Zekken and John QT left into this 2v3. It's the Outlaw, doubled up with the bodies, G2. Swift dismissal, and what a shot by Leaf.
You have to hit shots like that to shut down Zekken. Trent also with a super important 2K. Both teams had such great awareness of what the other wanted to do. Zelsis got in front of his own setup to be able to pick off Valin, knowing that there's a small gap on that C-split execute. But then G2 on the other side of things know that Sentinels want to flood into the back of site, and they just hold, wait for the util, and then pounce, spring the trap. And the whole of back site gets destroyed. At this point, round 16 and round 17 have started to tell a story. And the story is that G2 want to be running C-splits, they want to be trying to get onto Zelsis. They think that that's a weakness in the Sentinels' defense. What does Kaplan call here to try to shore that up? And is it all just part of a larger strategy to weaken a different area of the map? After a tactical timeout like this, often the attacking team will go in a totally different direction or a different tempo just to try to mess with what the defending team has adjusted.
They're the mind games that come out.
But this is why you tend to take these timeouts right before an eco. So Sen are coming in with bad weaponry. So Kaplan's game plan is not actually for this round, it's for the next one.
The crowd has turned up here today. Both Sentinels and G2.
I think important to note as well, in the last couple of rounds that G2 have won, Zekken was shut down. He went for the flank on C, Trent owned it. He was the last one in to try to win a 1v3, I think it was, and Leaf owned it.
I'll find them.
He's been stuck at 20 kills, though that's incredibly impressive.
Revealing area.
Next rifle round, they need to find a way of putting their player with the hot hand in position.
Not ready yet.
Not much information here. Flash. Zeken's postured off the angle. The salvos though remove that first layer and wave of a bit of that util. Trip's going to be broken.
There.
Pretty unusual spot actually here from Bang, over towards A lobby. So he's tucked in a corner that a lot of people might not be checking. At the same time though, here comes the drone.
Drone broken early.
Broken early makes you pretty scared that somebody's in a corner, but you don't know which one.
Fear in the back of your mind. Jorgen, we're going to be using this now. Dimensional drift. Clears it out. Spots the one. But only the one here. Zekken, and a lot of pressure. Trent anticipating that one. The re-swing attempt here with a stun. Aftershock. cleared away out towards Garage. This is G2 that have found that opening.
Bang, Omen ulted to try to get onto the flank. Valen, he's aware of it, holding this.
And still, there's better guns into the
Oh,
hands
the
of these G2 players. Past it. The timing. Form. Valen just catches it. Bang. It's going to be hurting after that one, honestly.
Remaining.
No clearance onto the corner, and everybody from Sentinels is just toppling and dropping. Flawless here from G2. 2-round lead.
But this is the round 19, where Kaplan took a tactical timeout to try to adjust things for Sentinels. I think it's really important that they put Zekken in a position where he can win the round for them. He's been the player. I mean, Bang and Narrate have also been, I think, coming up with some decent moments. Bang
Singers,
in particular.
They're trying to be like us. They not like us. You know what I mean?
So where is Zekken going to be playing? He's playing a pretty standard spot over towards A lobby. Sen don't look like they've adjusted too much.
Zekken blinds up though. Juggernaut's got to be here in this one, surely. Emphasis placed, he's just missing onto the angle. Zekken is happy to oblige and draw some blood out of it. Still Trent. Let's follow up.
Dude, going 1-for-1 there is perfectly fine for G2. They're not bothered about that at all. You take away the player that's got 21 kills. And G2 have got big ults to be able to work with. It's going to be tough now for Sentinels to even cover the whole of the map.
Giving up all of A, instead looking for that re-exploration in through mid. And okay, let's go even.
Spike drop, though, in mid-window. So G2 can't do some kind of fast reaction. They have to go and recover that.
Inserting a bit of slowed pace here from G2.
They're now going to realize that those players that went down the mid push were previously defending A. So there should be a gap. Bang, Valen
Timing again! It's Valen who wins this one out.
Both times. Bang, just not quite checking an angle, and Valen, he keeps the momentum going.
Yeah.
All left down to John QT, who's having a bit of a nightmare over here, watching the defense half slip away from him.
Picked to pieces. Death from 1,000 cuts here for John, and this rifle in his hands. They have no money really to rebind to the next.
He hasn't even used any utility this round. I mean, maybe the stun at the very beginning, but otherwise, it was all pretty raw duels. You know, Sen pushing up aggressive towards A lobby, going 1-for-1. Trying to clear out over towards B, going 1-for-1. And you think about all of the success that G2 had pushing out on their defense side. Bang tries to go for it there at Garage, and Valen catches him. But not in a clean way, in a scrappy, weird kind
messy,
of... Yeah, messy way that was very reminiscent of the prior, where he used his Omen teleport. Some slightly unlucky situations, but also, I think, not enough diversity with how Sentinels are playing their defense side. We were crediting how much G2 were rotating things. The Vice was, you know, on C, and then B, and then Garage. And they would push A, and push B, and push Garage all over the place. And that makes it really difficult to get a read on what's happening, whereas Sen are playing pretty much the same opening to the round every time. And actually, if I watched that from Valen's POV, he did just straight up catch the timing. It wasn't as messy as it seemed.
G2 fully in control now. I mean, you look at that timeline, stringing together the rounds, as you said. Running away with this open map here in a best of 5.
But this time, the defensive setup does shift. Double trips over towards A recon to make it feel like it's the same. But instead, Zekken looking like he wants to try his hand at taking this timing push out through grass.
Zone's going to be expended on top of it, straight up through B. Fault line on the other side. There's a Hunter's Fury, offloaded by Narrate. It feels like a bit of a Garage take. That's where most of them are going.
They had a stun as well, so John QT stunned. He was trying to catch those players outside Garage to help the Hunter's Fury, but G2 vanished in a puff of smoke.
Real acknowledgement. And all wasted here when really could have used it for Sentinels.
You're still going into double trips though, so Sen have a great chance at defending.
And the Raiders hard committed here. The stun's going to be missing him. Just gliding straight past with a blind and a flash. Okay, there's a trip to try and play off. Jonah P. Right over towards the top and through the wall. And the Raid dodging, weaving, ducking away. And dominating the spot that he's in. Dart in the leg doesn't stop Trent. Yet still that side is going to be opened up. Over towards G2 now in that 2v3. Damage barely done. And Trent survives for now. Plant down. Jorgamo, he knows he has to take those risks and loses the fight out. John QT barely alive for it, and Trent is in a very difficult spot still. Sentinels needed this one near side. Fantastic connection and a good cleanup in the end here by SEN.
And it's the one round where they change their defensive setup that makes all the difference. Zekken didn't end up being the difference maker here. It was actually the trips and Narrate's position that he could play off. A more passive approach to A, with the help of Zelsys utility that he took away from C, and Narrate delivers. A sick 3K anchoring in this spot. It's always going to be a good position to play from as it's over.
Spike planted.
Especially with that
One enemy.
meta smoke that Bang is throwing in on the site for him to play around. SEN need to be varied. They need to show a different look again here.
Shit, Marsh. Let's go. One round at a time.
The gap is 2, and SEN, they try something different again. Zelsys this time with Bang hard anchoring over towards A, as Zekken pushes C.
They've left the entirety of B open. Defensive setup, no one watching for it. Still has a bit of util to set Zekken up, like you said, but the reaction is called for by G2. See signs of it. They're going to be going straight into the setup. Sitting tucked into the corner here. It's a Cosmic Divide.
They're probably going to expect these trips to be for heaven.
Bang spamming! He's just caught with a bullet to the head there. Zeltis tucked low into the corner. He's not long for the ward there. Not with a Steel Guard and overlapping Armageddon. Everything is being used by G2 to secure this round up.
Oh, Narrate
Chip
takes
damage.
a bunch of damage at the end there. Half HP. John has ult, but they're going to need healthy players to follow up on
What a
it.
fun to get Crash backing away here, but he has to shot. Caught into the corner. It's a good combination. Stunned up there. Second wave of things, and he spotted it. Target acquired. Valin shuts it down. It's all left up to John now. He was supporting from afar with a util, but now left to step up. Earns himself the first one. Damage done to Valin and Jorg. It could be done, but a tap, and it's ice cold by G2. Not a peek, not a glimpse. And now with time played, they win it out entirely. The 12th round earned up here for G2.
G2 navigate a very difficult round there. Valin's kills are so important. When you expect the Cypher to be on the site, you're thinking maybe that those trips are for heaven. And yet Zelsys is tucked over towards short. Valin, he gets him. Up to 20 kills. And he's caught Bang's timing so often as well. Towards the end here, he's calling a great attack half, and he's delivering individually.
Rip and tear.
Just one round to stand between them though, and that is aggression! Second punished.
What a punish. That's the play that Zekken's been going for the majority of the half, going back Sentinels to their more defaulty setup. And Zekken, he had such a start to this map. He was on fire. Now has to watch as G2 try to secure the first of these map points.
G2 have a habit of this as well. It's going to be that slow squeeze over the course of the round. Zelsys, risky business pushing up like this, but risks are to be taken. Your player down, head of the spear, chopped right off with Zekken falling early here. Let's see if the clearance is there, and he hears it. Footsteps onto the corner.
Valin just can't be beaten right now.
No, locked in.
They've left this gap over towards B. Leaf exploiting it. John watching for it. Takes his eyes off it for a moment. But he's got the right idea. They are getting squeezed on the A site.
That's what I mean. Control of the map entirely, almost here to G2, and it has to be heroics in the Raiden John QT. Can they stand up against it? Slide to the angle here. John rattling shots. Found a raid. Guardians can't get it done. One left to do it all. It's Bang. And already Leaf has his mark. Map 1. Domination in that second half here by G2.
They leveled up and found a different gear. Sentinels, they relied, I think, a little on that individual prowess to be able to get them through the first half with the lead, 7-5. That kind of cooled off a bit. And the macro from G2 ended up being the difference maker, especially with how well Valin and Trent were playing.
Yeah.
There was so